4-0 win, only their third loss at home here in the Premier League this season, so how pleased are you with that?
Well, very, very happy, obviously. A very impressive performance, a very impressive results, and in the context that we've done it, we knew about the difficulty of the game and the opponent that we're facing with the recent form and the style of play that they have at the moment, the energy that the stadium brings, and then the fact that after 3 results that didn't go our way in the league, we really wanted to show how much we wanted it, and I think we certainly done that today.
Can I just ask about Bukayo Saka had to come out of the warm-up? What was the issue you had with that?
So in the warm-up he had a little niggle, he wasn't comfortable to start the game, so immediately we made a decision to make that change and bring Noni in, and he was ready because you cannot do that in 2 minutes, the way he prepares, the way he's waiting for opportunity. I think he paid off today because he really impacted him.
Charlie,
Are you pleased for Noni though? Because he's had to wait for it, be patient. To make an impact like that just shows the strength that you've got. And then of course you bring on Martinelli and he sets up a goal as well. I mean it's incredible what you can call on.
Yes, but that's only possible if those players are with the right mindset. And we talked before the game, it's going to be a long game. We're going to have to navigate through different moments in the game, and we're going to need everybody fulfilling the role that it has on the day. And I think the players executed that incredibly well.
Sam, Telegraph?
Okay, you mentioned the context of the 3 previous league games. Was that as much today about mentality and sort of answering some of those questions from the outside?
No. Mentality is good, and the mentality I mentioned it to you, to play with that level of enjoyment about where we are, and then with a conviction to believe in what we do, how good we are, and that we can beat any opponent, and we certainly done that. But then you have to show the quality as well in this league to do it, and it came out in great ways from different players as well.
You started with Kai in midfield. What was the sort of the thinking behind that and Martin going to the bench?
Sorry?
Started with Kai today.
Yeah.
What was it?
Bukayo, I understood.
Sorry,
because of the type of game that I expected as well, and how aggressive and direct they've been recently, and I believe that the game was going to allow us more spaces, and the temperature will come down in the second, third part of the game, and that's what we could have changed the game with different qualities in the team.
Tom from Reach?
Michael, just on Martin, who came off, he was involved in the 3rd goal, he set up the 4th goal. Considering there's been a lot of talk around him recently in his form, you must be delighted to see him respond in that way.
So happy the way he reacted, but in general the team and obviously certain individuals is normal. The opinions, the noise is part of that. What we can control is what we can do, how much we want it, and trying to get the best out of yourself and the team in every moment. The rest, it's is not possible, and we'll have to be judged on that because it's nothing else that we can do apart from giving our best.
Yes, Sam, very much.
Hi Michael, with all the noise around the 3 games without winning the league, what does it show about your team in terms of the fact that when they were ahead, they foot on throat and got 4 past leads and didn't actually step up the gas?
Well, it's very impressive, but we talk about that noise, but it was a great noise as well. The fact that we were the first team in the Champions League to win in a row. That's a lot of noise, but very positive one. But we want to talk always more about the other noise. The other noise is part of that. The expectation is to win every game. We compete against incredible opponents, and we know that's the case. But that has to fuel your energy and desire to win more than anything else, in my opinion.
And with Martin, he comes onto the pitch and had a great impact on the play. Does that sometimes though show, in terms of the wider context, that no player's position safe, as in the captain, even he can be on the bench?
It's not safe, it's that the role can change because the game has different needs, and we play every 3 days, and the fact that you can contribute and help the team to win from a different angle, I think it's a great thing to understand. Not so easy in certain players, but Martin and the rest is certainly done that today.
Change ESPN.
Mikel, you restricted Leeds to just 3 shots. Their XG was very low, 4.15. How important is it that the team gets back to that defensive resilience and that level of control?
Yeah, well, it's something that we want. You always have an opponent in front of you that is going to test that, and you have to execute the actions and be very, very consistent if you don't want to concede nothing. And really impressive because it's a really tough team to restrict them to that. And between all of us, we've done it.
Okay, the last couple first. Jimmy.
Hi, Mikel. You had some nice words to say about Leeds after August.
Yeah.
You've had 2 very good results against them this season, but nevertheless, like, how difficult have it been to play against?
Very
them?
difficult.
Do you think they'll be got enough to stay?
I think so, and I think what they've done, I think, is very smart. I said it is really tough. They are really well organized. They have threat. They have quality. They have a lot of variation in relation to game context to play in different ways. And they have an amazing stadium with a beautiful atmosphere of football that brings the level of the rest of the team to a really difficult level to match. So I hope they do. Thank you.
One in here.
Just to follow on that, you've been around the country this season, around Europe as well. Is that one of the most hostile atmospheres you've faced this season, would you say?
I don't know the word. I would say beautiful football atmospheres. I mean, when you talk about the tradition and the history of this league, this kind of stadium, this kind of atmosphere and people, that's what it makes it unique. So it's a joy to play football in this kind of grounds, this atmosphere.
My goodness, you got one.
Yeah, we knew, and my credit to them as well. They were set up the type of game that they want to throw you in, and yeah, you have to handle that. And it's a lot of games like this in the Premier League right now. And we conceded the goal in a manner that we knew it was one of the biggest strengths. Credit to them because they do that really well. After that, I think we reacted well. Scored the first goal, scored the second goal. The game was dominated. But yeah, in any moment, they just need a foul, a long throw, a direct ball to create that chaos. You have to defend the actions well. We lose the timing of that, and we concede the goal. So very disappointed because even at the end, in the last minute, we have again a massive chance with Ricky and Mikel to win it, and it didn't mean to be. So we have to accept it.
No complaints overall?
No, for the players, you mean?
In the performance, in decisions going against you or for
I
you?
prefer not together. No, with the players, no. And big credit what they've done. We won the last 10 games, no conceded goals. We have 7 players injured, and the team has been phenomenal in performances, in results. So let's keep going.
And tell us about that second half performance. What changed, if anything, or was it a message, just keep going as you are?
Yeah, well, we have to do something better, especially the way they set up with all the long and direct balls. We certainly done that, and we allowed us more control, dominance. We changed a few things to have more penetration and more threat. And yeah, we scored the 2 goals, very good goals. And yeah, it's a shame the way we lost it at the end.
When the dust settles and you look back on this, will you think, you know what, not many teams will get a point here?
I don't know. Yeah, they make it really hard for you. Credit to them. It's not a coincidence that they're in the position that they are. My feeling is that we should have won it, obviously. So it's what it is.
And going into this last international break for quite a while, what would be your 11-game assessment? You're in a very, very good place.
Yeah, obviously, very strong position for the reasons that I said. Performance-wise, result-wise, clean sheets, 7 top players up front injured, where we haven't been able to rotate as well, and we play some very tough games as well. So this is where we are right now. Now make sure that they go to international break, they do what they have to do. Let's get some players back as well, and let's go again.
Congratulations. What was your thoughts on the display, ultimately the result, and how much of a step back is it the overall progress you've made recently?
Yes, first of all, congratulations to Arsenal. Deserved win today. So today, I have to say we have to accept that the better team won this game. Of course, we were also realistic before we faced today the best side currently in Europe. There are reasons why this team is sitting top of the table in the Premier League, why this team is the best team currently in Europe, 8 wins out of 8 Champions League games. And of course, you need a perfect day in order to give yourself a chance, and also a bit of luck that this side is then perhaps not there with their best day and not super effective. Yeah, but today, sadly, we didn't have our very best day, and yeah, they were on it from the first to the last second. And for that, they deserve to win this game, and yeah, we have to accept their quality today. We have to say congratulations, they were better, and for that, there's not too much to overinterpret into this game.
How's Carl Darlow after that? Obviously, goalkeepers come in the spotlight, don't they, when they make mistakes and stuff, and no Arsenal is a threat at set pieces. What would you say about him overall?
Yes, overall, of course, he's disappointed with the situation. I think in general, the key was today we didn't find the solution to create chances against them, to score goals. Whatever we did today, they in the first half found against all our processes always an answer. So we changed on the base formation in the second half. We brought different type of offensive players on. We brought many offensive players, offensive thinking players on as well. But whatever we did, they always had an answer today. We were not really able to create chances. This was the first part of our game. Second part, against the ball. In the first half, out of the game, I can't really remember a chance for them. But obviously, set pieces are also a big topic for them. I think we gave a few too many away. Initially, we have defended all the corners pretty spot on, but the problem was if you then clear sometimes the corner and then there's a second phase, and to concede out of this situation, that was tricky. Yeah, of course, the crossing situation, we were then in the center over-shifting too far to the first post and had an underload, and they had a relatively easy 1-0. Yes, in the second half they scored more or less. I think it was, I have to watch it back, was an own goal probably, but at least there was not really one Arsenal player close to it. Of course, we should defend this situation better. If you concede 2 goals like this and you are 2-0 down against the best side in Europe, then it was always clear it could be a long afternoon. Again, one death you have to die. We decided to go for it in the second half and to try with 1 goal to have a foot back into the door. I think we had 20-25 good minutes, but we're not really able to create chances in these moments and take advantage out of it. And we decided then, of course, to change back to a back 4. Of course, then it's more or less the gaps were a bit bigger for the offensive players, and then Gyökeres and especially also Jesus with unbelievable movement and for the 4th goal showed then their quality and what they can do if they have a bit more space. And for that. Again, so their offensive quality was better today. Of course, we could have defended the situation in the first half better. To be 2-0 down was, of course, the key, because otherwise we wouldn't have to take more risk and could have stayed a bit more solid. But once you're 2-0 down and you're in a home game, it's not like we wanted to accept just the 2-0. We still wanted to go for it, and for that, yes, no too many hard feelings today, and just congratulations to the quality that Arsenal shown today.
Byron.
Our board knows exactly my feelings, but I think what we should do, and during this window, and I mentioned several times, I won't speak publicly too much about my opinions because it makes the market just more difficult. And for that, sadly, I can't answer honestly the question anyhow. So of course, we're always looking to improve the squad and to bring quality players in, and especially on positions where we are perhaps a bit weaker anyhow. So that's for sure. But I don't want to speak too much about this because I concentrate on the players that I have available and try to be there with the best possible decisions.
How did you hope to hurt Arsenal today? What was the game plan? How did you feel tonight?
To be flexible, like we were also against Everton. Obviously, we wanted, of course, also like with our wing backs to open them a bit over the wings. They had good solutions to close us down. Then whenever their central midfield players were jumping, we wanted to use this also with an overload in the center. But the last one was also defending forward and denied these opportunities. We wanted then, of course, also to use sometimes a bit more pragmatical style with using Dominic, but was always clear that this would be difficult against headers like Gabriel and Saliba. So we wanted to be flexible. And of course, also like we want to go for it and have many winnings of the ball in their half already. Yeah, but against all these topics, more or less for quick counter attacks, they had always good solutions. Was out of all processes that we tried, Arsenal today always had the answer. And also when we changed the base formation and tried then to play with different angles and in different areas, they had a good answer. So you have to say their quality today against the ball and as a whole team also to defend, was on the top level. And just have to say congratulations to them today. We were not able to find our offensive opportunities.
Isaac.
Daniel, what was the message to the lads after full time?
Yes, also that, of course, they should take the disappointment from today, but we won't overinterpret this game. And also, there is not much to analyze. It's more or less like to say, come on, they were the better side, and we accept that Arsenal today was the better side. And this type of game is not season-defining. Yes, you can't accept as a promoted side that each and every time you face a top or big name like against Liverpool 2 times a draw, against Chelsea a win or whatever. Yeah, sometimes there's also a game against one of the big names when you lose the game. This happened today. It doesn't take the disappointment in the first instance away, but it's also nothing that we will speak about in the next 3 or 4 days. We'll put this game pretty quick to bed, and from tomorrow on we concentrate only on Nottingham here on Friday evening.
Yeah, just on that, how important is it that your players do just sort of put this to the back of their minds with the big game ahead on?
Yes, important, because whenever there's a loss, and also deserved loss, and it's important not to dwell on that. For that, we draw a line pretty quickly and move on.
Liam.
Supporters at the end, Dan, they also really got behind you when your players needed a lift. That's important, isn't it?
Yes, outstanding. Also big compliments to our supporters, because like us, they were also disappointed, but they also felt anyhow that, okay, today the quality of Arsenal was a bit too good, and I think was also appreciation of what we've done in the last month and even the last 1.5 years. And our home record speaks for itself, our performances at home, also away in the away games, but also especially at home, speak for itself. And it's a good feeling that they are also in this moment are having the back of my players, and we have a great unity throughout the club.
Having a home game so quickly afterwards as well, that's good to get flipping around.
Yes, of course, for a promoted side it's always important, especially at home, to have a fortress, and yes, to have the next home game then on Friday evening. Floodlights are on, can't be much better, but won't be an easy game. So it's still a difficult game, and we have to prepare in the best possible way. We face again a side also was qualified last season for Europe, has spent lots of money on the transfer market, and in terms of individual quality, it's definitely a really good side, and we have to be back at our very best to give ourselves a chance to win the next points.
Anybody else? Yep.
Daniel, you said sort of Arsenal are the best in Europe in terms of the Champions League. Do you think they'll win the league from what you've seen today?
That's difficult to say, and every top side is also different. You can't really predict what happens, for example, on Champions League level, because the Spanish side, Bayern Munich, they also have chances, and it's more or less the same in the league. So it's just obvious, if you are top of the league after this amount of game, there are reasons for it, and you deserve it. In Europe and also in the Premier League, and for that at the moment they have the best possible solution, but it's also important to keep the nerves and the run in, to show this consistency further on, to show this consistency also when important Champions League games will be on. So this week they had a bit the advantage, more or less, that they could rest their first team. Would have been a bit easier for us if they would have played with their first team more or less during the week, but there will be also difficult games upcoming, but they definitely have a chance this year. Yes, that's for sure.
All good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mikel Arteta's work at Arsenal is being viewed in an even brighter light after the recent coaching shakeups elsewhere. With Chelsea parting ways with Enzo Maresca and Manchester United moving on from Ruben Amorim, the contrast is hard to miss. Arsenal has kept moving forward under Arteta, giving him time through difficult stretches, and now seeing the payoff as the club pushes again in the Premier League title race. It also raises a bigger question about strategy. While Chelsea and United are changing direction again, Arteta has been in place for more than 6 years, outlasting a long list of managers across those two clubs in that span. That stability has become part of the story, and it was a major talking point on the Seeing Red podcast with Tom Canton and John Cross. Beyond reacting to Amorim's dismissal and breaking down wins over Aston Villa and Bournemouth, plus Manchester City's loss to Chelsea, the conversation kept returning to one core idea: structure. Not just who is the coach, but how much power that coach has, and whether the club is built to support a long-term project. Cross pointed to Arsenal as a rare example of patience turning into real strength. He argued that Arsenal's willingness to back Arteta through the messy early phases helped create the stable position they're in now, and that this kind of time and support investment is what can turn a club into something truly solid. Canton's response was sharp and honest. Arteta's arc, he said, has almost become a problem for other clubs, because it tempts them to keep coaches they probably shouldn't. But at the same time, it's still the best example of what can happen when you hire the right person and actually give them time. And that time wasn't smooth. The discussion highlighted how Arsenal could easily have pulled the plug early. 2 8th-place finishes, then 5th, missing out on the Champions League, and a Europa League semi-final exit to Unai Emery's Villarreal. Any of those moments could have pushed a club into panic mode. Instead, the argument is that Arsenal recognized the bigger reality. Arteta didn't have the resources to compete at the required level right away. The squad needed a rebuild. The roster needed to be refreshed. That's where the comparison to Chelsea and United becomes even more pointed. The podcast suggested that recruitment and decision-making structure are often what determine whether a coach survives. If signings don't land, results suffer. And if a coach doesn't have enough influence or the club isn't aligned behind a clear plan, it becomes much easier for things to collapse. In other words, giving time only works if the coach is empowered to shape the team in a way that matches the vision. Cross also emphasized that Arteta's situation stood out because he pushed to be a true manager, not just a head coach. The idea is simple. Top coaches want a real say in the build, and they want the club to match what they were promised when they took the job. The discussion even pointed to how Arteta survived a low moment, like the home loss to Burnley, because the club stayed behind him. And in that period, with fan pressure affected by the COVID-era environment, Arsenal were able to hold their nerve instead of reacting emotionally. Meanwhile, the big unknowns now shift back to Chelsea and Manchester United. Who replaces Amorim? And how will the next chapter look at Chelsea? The answers may come sooner than people expect. But for Arsenal, the reality stays the same. They're stable, they're moving forward, and they're still in the title chase, while others are starting over again. And that contrast can shape how people judge every manager in the league. Because when two massive clubs hit the reset button again, it forces the same question Cross raised on the show. Is the quick switch actually fixing the problem, or just delaying the real work? The bigger takeaway from the discussion is that time isn't a magic solution by itself. It only becomes valuable when the club's structure supports the plan, and when the coach has the influence to push the squad in the direction he believes it needs to go. That's why the distinction between head coach and manager kept coming up. The podcast point is that if a coach is expected to own the results, he usually wants a meaningful say in the decisions that shape those results. And if he doesn't get that, patience alone won't save him. That's also where Arteta's early struggles get reframed. Those finishes and setbacks could have become a reason to panic. Instead, they became evidence of why alignment matters, because Arsenal chose to treat them as part of a build, not a final verdict. And once the squad was reshaped the way the club believed it needed to be, the results started to reflect that long-term approach. So the repercussions aren't just about Arsenal looking stable, it's about how stability changes your margin for error. When you don't reset every year, you're not constantly starting from zero. You're building on decisions, learning from setbacks, and keeping a clearer identity. For Chelsea and Manchester United, the immediate consequence is obvious. They're changing direction again, which means the next appointment carries even more weight. Because every new coach isn't just judged on results. He's judged on whether the club is finally giving him the structure and authority that the role demands. That's why the question at the end matters so much. Who will replace Amorim, and how will Liam Rosenior do at Chelsea? Because those answers will test the exact theme the show kept returning to. Time, support, structure, and control. And for Arsenal, it's a different kind of pressure. Stability doesn't guarantee trophies, but it does keep you in the fight longer. And right now, while others restart, Arsenal get to stay focused on what they're already doing, chasing the Premier League title.